Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry. In today's video, I'm going to take a look at our newest Astral Raid boss, Shishimai. This is the first time we've had Shishimai available on Master difficulty, but this raid has had a rerun, so earlier this year we had Nightmare Shishimai, and during that raid we had some awesome drops where we were able to get honeys and ashes that basically let you grind that as much as you wanted to. That was a pretty cool time for the game in terms of ramping up on resources, but obviously Astral Raids are a different beast. You don't have to focus on smashing the gift box to get extra rewards. Everything is predetermined in terms of what you receive. You have a much longer time limit, and so a lot of people like to think of these as content that cares more about survival and outlasting the enemy rather than just dealing as much damage as possible. I've even taken that line of thought in the past, but I feel like it's probably more accurate to say that it's a more balanced type of content where survival matters, yes, but DPS is still a good component and good thing to have. In the case of Shishimai, none of its moves are unavoidable, so there's not Fraganoth type situations or Hypnos type situations where you really need the DPS to destroy a volcano or destroy some orbs. So in some sense you could play a really long match with Shishimai and still win, and you'll see my second clear today I did that because I was taking an interesting strategy, which I'll talk about in a moment. For my first clear I hopped over to our Discord, found other players who were looking to run right at reset, which made things very easy and very convenient. So you can see there wasn't much struggle here. I will say that my ranged AI did tend to fare a bit worse, and there are some points here where their HP bar gets into the red. I think it's basically because the ranged AI will almost always be an attacking range of Shishimai, and sometimes when units are in attacking range, they don't dodge correctly. So if one of them was standing in one of his Dance of the Sunrise rays and basically was using a skill or something, they wouldn't get away in time as ranged AI, whereas the melee, they stick close to me, they're probably following me away. That was my impression of it, at least. Luckily, because I was using both Botan and Curran in my team for some extra defense, and I actually had my Study Rapid Swarmprint on my Gala Cleo just to help her survive, I was able to knock out this first clear as a Deathless, and so after that point, I just decided for the rest of my clears, I'm just going to lump up all of my resources, my Astral Shards or Astral Pieces, whatever they're called, the jigsaw puzzle pieces, into one big clear of Master. So my next clear I'm going to show, I just did Master all at once. I also did in between the lower difficulties because I do like to collect the Wormite that we get from this, especially on weeks like this where it's only HP augments and not strength augments. That's probably a good time to collect that Wormite. So this clear, we were going in trying to get a clear using gold Fafnirs. And gold Fafnirs provide a big rupee bonus, but the downside to them is that you don't get any bonus to your stats other than the stats on the dragon themselves. So this has become a popular technique for players who are pretty advanced in their teams, have pretty strong units. They can get away with something like this, but I would strongly discourage you from doing this in pubs just because I feel like it's probably not the most polite thing to do to bring an underpowered team that you're intentionally using to greed out extra rupees from these fights. I was able to do this with 2 people who were in Discord, and then we ended up getting 1 pub who joined our team, player 4. You can see that my units are dying very quickly without these extra stats. Yuden is the first to fall, in part because he's off element. Yuden is obviously there just for player EXP. I wouldn't recommend bringing Yuden to this fight. you definitely want to use Shadow Element Adventurers if you're somebody who's more on the bubble and actually struggling with this. I actually transformed into the Gold Fafnir there just to heal my team, since its dragon form is not really good, especially not compared to Galacleo herself. But basically this approach was very much a whittle down the Astral Raid boss type approach. Not dealing a lot of damage with our skills or anything, but basically as long as we're alive by the end, since we've all gotten our Deathless, we're all satisfied in that respect, we can afford to kind of play around with the rest of our clears and get them all this way. So you'll see at the end of this fight just how many rupees I'm able to obtain this way. I'm not really hurting for rupees. I had about 9 million before this, and so that wasn't really necessary for me to do. It's actually the first time I've tried this Gold Fafnir strategy. I haven't done it on any of the past Astral Raid bosses because I feel like they were all hard enough that it took me a while to get my Deathless, and I didn't want to mess around with the Gold Fafnir when there are other players who probably were struggling with the fight. So in this case, that wasn't an issue, and it just seems like an easier Astral Raid boss, at least in my experience. I didn't go with public lobbies this time because I tend to run into the problem that the host will quit, and I feel like that is one of the issues that still persists with hosting, is just when the host quits in particular, everyone else gets disconnected and becomes AI. If a random person on the team quits, at least the other real players are still there and one player's team becomes AI. So yeah, I basically decided, let's just do this on Discord. I don't want to have to deal with that. And this week I was able to knock out all my Astral content in just about 15 minutes, which was pretty great. I'm looking forward to Mercurial Gauntlet coming out tomorrow. It seems like it has been data mined that it will be Light Roy, meaning you'll also want to use a Shadow team for that. So I'm planning on coming in with my Ieyasu, Curran, Galacleo, and possibly Valentine's Ezolith, because I think Burn might still be an effective strategy there. I'm going to have to see what the resistances are, but the reason I'm including an off-element adventurer like her is in part because I don't have super powerful Shadow Dragons. I have my Max Unbound Shinobi, which you saw I summoned for a lot. I have a Max Unbound Juggernaut, and then a second copy of Juggernaut at Max Unbound, and basically that's it. So I'm looking forward to checking that out tomorrow. I'll try bring you some coverage of that with however far I'm able to get. I hope that you remember to clear any gauntlet levels that you wish to today, since it is the last day to do so before our Victor's Trove resets, and hopefully you get pretty far in the Light Gauntlet when it releases tomorrow. Remember that you have a full month to work on that too, so I would encourage you not to necessarily rush it. I probably will for the sake of content and putting out that video, and just because I like playing through those fairly quickly. But remember, you'll always have a chance to summon things during the week, during Anniversary. You can always pick up things later on that might end up being better investments for you rather than what you decide to put all your resources into on day one. And not only that, but in the case of the past month, we actually got that special artwork, which I haven't even been able to see because I cleared too early. So there are definitely late mover advantages when it comes to the gauntlet. You can also see what strategies are working for other players before you decide who to invest on. So remember, it's not something that you have to rush right away. In my case, just with the anniversary coming up and everything, I do want to try and knock it out if I can. You can see there that at the end of that Astral Raid, things got pretty dicey. Only my Curran survived, but that's all that really needed to happen for me to collect the maximum possible rewards. So I got close to 1 million rupees off that run. I'm still not planning on buying extra Astral Raids runs with Diamantium. I just don't see much of a point in doing that. On the bright side, I was able to use the HP augments from these runs to max out the HP on my study rabbits, so that was pretty cool. That's going to do it for this video though, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed the Astral Raids this week, and I'll see you tomorrow with some coverage of the Mercurial Gauntlet. Take care, and see you next time!